Hey Piccolo, whatever happened to Commanding Magic Season 3?
I think it's in my other pants pocket.
Does this mean we're gonna have to make Commanding Magic The Lost Episodes 2?
Yes, that's right.
Well, alright, you heard the man. Kicking it off with Commanding Magic's Dominaria review. Let's go. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Commanding Magic, The Lost Episodes 2. It is Travis and Brandon here, and boy, it's been a while again.
Again.
For this, that,
Don't
and
call it a comeback.
For this, that, and the other reason, we have really not had the opportunity to really come together and put together some quality content for you guys, so we just decided if we were going to actually make a comeback, actually come back and do the show. We wanted to really do it proper, and we didn't want to have it be like a half-assed version of something that we could have really done better. So we've missed a lot of stuff in the past months. When did we try to start season 3?
Was like in March, April, something like that. We made that intro video in January saying that we were going to take a break.
Yeah.
And like legitimately take a couple months of break and then come back, and then we made like one thing. I think we talked about the Jace's spellbook.
Yeah.
In our last actual episode, and then that was it.
Yeah. So in order to kind of get back to where we're going, we're not going to be labeling things as season 3 just yet, because we want to get to the current day before we start actually going full steam ahead into season 3. So we are doing a second Lost Episode series in order to catch up, and we're just going to kind of get into it here. And it's
fair. Season 3 may not still start until next year.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't even know. But yeah, this is going to be our Dominaria set review, something that we've actually been really excited to do. But, you know, just the show kind of went on a little bit of a hiatus, but here we go. Yep. This is going to be a little bit different from how we have how we tried to kind of transition into doing our set reviews, where we do them color by color by color. This being a Lost Episode series, it's going to be a little bit of an abridged version like we used to do, where we were going to just go through the whole set, but we're going to try to give our opinions on the cards that we think will be functionally good for Commander, and if we have any other opinions on it, we will make them known as well. Are you ready, Brandon?
I'm ready.
All right, so the first card on the list is something that I am excited about. I got excited about. I currently really enjoy this card. Is Lyra, however you'd like to say it, Dawnbringer. The 5-mana 5/5 flying first striker lifelinker, legendary angel, that says other angels you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. This card is like pretty much Baneslayer Angel 2.0 as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, same CMC, same PG, it's an angel. It's flying first strike, lifelink, and it just doesn't have protection, but it's got a buff.
Yeah, it's got
other angels.
It's got plenty of other things. So this card does it for me. You can easily, I think, use this card as a commander. I've seen lists of people actually making tribal angels with this. You know, you can have your opinion on whether or not that type of deck is could functionally be good or not. But for us casuals, this is the perfect card to lead the angel deck, you know?
So we'll probably get to it later, but is it Lyra that you prefer, or is it Shalai?
For the angel deck, that's actually a good question. Once we get down to that card, I will go a little bit more into it, but I think that this card, on a flavor level, is a little bit better, but we can expand on that a little bit more once we get to that point. Brandon, take us through Naru Meha.
Probably going to surprise you, but I mean, some of the blue legendaries in the set just aren't my thing.
Really?
Like, they're good. I'm not going to lie, they're good.
So what makes a blue legendary for you that these cards and cards that we will be seeing moving forward are lacking a little bit?
I don't know. Probably a little bit red. But, you know, that's just me. If I'm being honest with you, red legendaries hit home with me a lot more than just plain blue legendaries do. Okay. So,
because I mean,
a certain Planeswalker we're going to get to here in a minute. That's great.
Right, and so ultimately you're an Izzet player.
Right.
That would be your preferred color combination.
Right. And that's
So
no secret to anybody.
yeah, so to say that you may prefer the red a little bit more, because I mean, even going back in time, like when I first met you, like you were saying like, oh yeah, I love playing red.
Oh yeah.
You made like what was when did you make um Jaya, your mono red?
Oh God, I don't even remember.
Yeah, and that was just like a good.
But yeah,
It
no, I
kind of
had
showed that like you were like a little bit more perhaps passionate about red than blue, but red and blue together just complement each other so well that it
right.
became what you preferred to play.
Yeah, no, red's always been my color,
Sure.
and if I had a primary color, it'd be red and then blue.
Gotcha.
But
So
anyway, that's
Narume,
what we're
yeah,
here to talk about.
yeah,
Narume, a master wizard. It's got flash. Other wizards you control get +1/+1, and when it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets. I mean, you know, as a commander, you could just flash it in at any time,
yeah,
right? You don't have to worry about it being in your hand,
yeah,
but you have to worry about having all that mana is the problem. Now, in like when you're like going crazy off of high tide or something, you don't have to worry about that. But it's just it's a copy. There's
yeah,
plenty of other copies that don't rely on it also being on a creature.
yeah. It reminds me a little bit of Venser Shaper Savant. I mean, I know that like their abilities are functionally very different, but just being a
Right.
creature with flash that influences like the stack,
Hmm.
or that can influence the stack.
I mean,
And
basically, it's a just a copy that you get legs off of.
yeah, it's really funny because I think it's a really cool card, but also I do also kind of think that something is a little bit awkward about this card. I think that maybe it would have been less awkward if it didn't give wizards +1/+1.
Right.
Like those two abilities that it has just seem kind of mishmashed in there,
What I will say though is that the wizard tribal like stuff that we got out of this set was amazing.
Oh yeah, some really cool stuff we're going to be seeing. Um, so moving right along, we have Demon Lord Belzenlock, Belzen Poppenlock. As I understand, right, this is one of Liliana's demons, or no?
This was her last demon.
Oh, okay, cool. So this is our 6 mana 6/6 flying trample demon that kind of had to be in the set.
Hmm.
Legendary creature Elder Demon, interesting. And then when Demon Lord Belzenok enters the battlefield, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. Then put that card into your hand. If the card's converted mana cost is 4 or greater, repeat this process. Demon Lord Belzenlock deals 1 damage to you for each card put into your hand this way. So this, I would say, rewards you for getting your high CMC spells.
Yeah. So spoilers. I know we're talking about something in the past, but I seen somebody post a screenshot from Arena on Reddit, and they had like 78 cards in hand
Oh, geez.
and 50 something cards in exile just off of one Demon Lord Belzenlock trigger.
Wow.
It's like whoa. So yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, that game was over.
Yeah.
But still.
Cool card that has the opportunity to give you some card advantage, but I don't know. I honestly, for this card specifically, I'm not sure how good this really is in Commander because, yeah, I mean, although you could just fill your deck with all these really high CMC cards, but then what may end up happening is like, you may just flood yourself with those high CMC cards before you can even try to go off with Demon
Right.
Lord Pop and Lock. And you know what I mean?
I like that name better.
Yeah, so take it for what you will. I think the art's really cool. I like the effect, but I'm not sure how efficient it would be in Commander.
No.
So next up is something a little bit more spicy, and Brandon's going to tell
Yeah.
us about it.
Jaya Ballard. So what happened? Like all of a sudden she's got her spark back? I don't know. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm the lore guy, but I haven't read anything since like halfway through Dominaria, and up until that point she hadn't gotten a spark back or anything. So I'm not gonna pretend to know.
Yeah, whatever, man.
So anyway, she's got 5 loyalty. Her +1 and 3 red. Spend this mana only to cast instant or sorceries. Fine. That
Yeah,
is
sure.
perfectly fine with me.
Yeah.
+1. Discard up to 3 cards, then draw that many cards. Hey, I'll take it. 2
Yeah.
pluses. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and then
-8.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay,
You
fine.
go ahead.
All right, fine. The second +1 is actually really cool because it just kind of lets you filter through your deck. And especially if you're looking to perhaps capitalize off of something like Past in Flames.
Right.
Or what is it? What's that one card from a relatively recent commander set that lets you like cast everything? Mizzix's Mastery or whatever.
Yeah, Mizzix's Mastery.
So even though it might on the surface seem a little strange, like you're discarding 3 cards or discard up to 3 cards and then drawing that many cards, there are ways that you can move towards setting yourself up for something bigger.
Plus, I mean, look at all the effects that whenever you draw a card, do something, or whenever you draw a card, draw another card.
Yeah,
or stuff like that. So you could discard 1, draw 2.
Yeah, freaking Nib Mizzet.
Things like that.
Nib Mizzet.
Right. Just
anyway,
go off.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that ulti.
You get an emblem with, you may cast instant and sorcery cards from your graveyard. If a card cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it. You get Past in Flames.
Yeah.
Basically what you get, which is great.
I like this ultimate in the sense that it has synergy with other abilities on the walker.
Right.
Which I don't really think that we see that an awful lot.
I mean, you add the red to cast spells, and then those spells fuel your emblem. Same with your other +1 to discard your cards. It's all going towards that emblem.
Yeah.
Which I think is why there's no other minus on this card. Because everything's helping you get there.
Yeah. A very synergistic design here.
Plus, I mean, add 3 red, that's 9 damage and lightning bolts.
Yeah, it's still good. I mean, it essentially makes her a 2-mana planeswalker,
Right.
Because if you want to cast her and then you have the opportunity to +1 and then cast something else, Use
your Generator Servant to cast her, make her cheaper anyway.
Yeah.
Man. A red rant.
Right. So next up is going to be one of our green legendaries here, and it is Multani, Yavamaya's Avatar. Our 6/6 for a 0/0. What? Terrible. Throw it in the trash. Elemental Avatar. But with Reach and Trample, but Multani Yavamaya's Avatar gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land card in your graveyard. So stopping right there really quick, this goes really good in even in decks like anything that really kind of can just pitch stuff to your graveyard. So for example, like Sidisi, this would be okay because when you're revealing off the top and discarding off the top and things like that, you're going to pitch a land every now and then, and that can fuel him right there. Or if you just want to play him in a deck that, like a Lands Matter deck, it's really good anyway. You know what I mean?
Just do a lot of self-mill and just run a greater amount of lands than you normally would.
Yeah, Gitrog Monster, like that, perfect for that. But then the last ability is that for 1 and a green, you can return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand. Return Multani from your graveyard to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So
a way 2 lands, get him back, and then he never goes away.
Yeah. So just a good solid card. It with the variable power and toughness, it becomes it's immediately good. You can play it as soon as you have the 6 mana, and then over time it just gets more powerful.
Right. That's assuming you don't have creature ramp on board.
Right. So the next things that we're going to be talking about are a series of legendary sorceries.
Ooh.
And we're going to go ahead and start out with Urza's Ruinous Blast. And Urza's Ruinous Blast is 5 mana to exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. Okay.
Oh.
But the caveat here...
Yeah, go ahead.
The caveat here is that you may only cast a legendary sorcery if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? You like that?
I like overpowered effects that you can only get off. Say if, you cast this spell, it's at sorcery speed, so it's not instant speed. So, and then somebody responds by, destroying your legendary that you have. Just getting rid of them. And then the spell goes to resolve and it can't.
Yeah. This card is rude. Yep. Exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. That's a lot of permanents. That's going to be a lot of permanents in most cases.
Right.
Unless you're playing some crazy like legendary synergy where you have just, I mean, which you could do.
5-color legendaries.
I mean, you could.
Or what is it? Not Captain Sisay?
Oh, yeah.
Or is that the other one?
No, you're right. Captain Sisay. Yeah, you're right. Next up is the blue legendary sorcery, Karn's Temporal Sundering. Brandon, what is Karn's Temporal Sundering?
Karn's Temporal Sundering is another 6-mana legendary sorcery. Target player takes an extra turn after this one. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Exile Temporal Sundering.
So you're not going to be getting this one back from the graveyard.
Nope. But still, that's really good.
Being able to bounce a target non-land permanent is pretty cool. I like that. I really like that artwork.
Right. But when you boil it down, it's just another take extra turn.
Yeah.
And nothing crazy.
And so at the end of the day, I'd still say that like Time Warp is better.
Right, because it doesn't have that legendary caveat.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the big thing that I think is a knock against this card. But I think that R&D perhaps may have begun to realize that they can't just print like a vanilla take an extra turn card anymore.
Right, because we've seen what happened to that already.
Right.
Because of a card that got printed as a buy a box promo.
Oh yeah. Which we'll also get into.
Yes. That caused quite a stir.
Yeah. So next up, Yogmaz Vile Offering is a 5-mana legendary sorcery that says put up to 1 target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Destroy up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. Exile Yogmaz Vile Offering.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Destroy a creature or a planeswalker?
And to be able to get a creature or a planeswalker back. However, the legendary thing makes it situational.
Right.
Is it good? Who knows?
You can't abuse this one either.
Let's see. And so Karn's Temporal Sundering and Yawgmoth's Vile Offering are the only two that exile themselves after you cast them.
Right.
The other 3 do not. But yeah, this is, classic reanimation card with a twist.
Yep.
That's what we've got here. Jaya's Immolating Inferno, Brandon.
X red. Jaya's Immolating Inferno does X damage to each of up to 3 targets. Woo!
X damage.
It doesn't say divided.
Yeah, and it's not like one of those cards that has the double X on it.
Well, no, or just, divided up to or between 3 targets or whatever that text is that makes it like, oh, I'll do 3 to this one, 2 to this one, 5 to that one.
Yeah. So
they all take 9.
Yeah, so for 5 mana, you're dealing 3 damage to 3 different targets.
Right.
Which is pretty sweet. Artwork is very red. There's a lot of red going on here.
Apparently, though, this artwork, like a lot of the artworks on here for these depict, like it says in the flavor text right there, Chandra's spark igniting. So, yeah.
Oh, that's not Jaya's spark?
Jaya's. I said Chandra, didn't I?
Yeah.
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 My bad.
Cheat count.
Sorry. We've only had one red fire planeswalker for the longest time, okay?
Yeah. Next up, we have Kamals Druidic Vow, being X and 2 green for a legendary sorcery. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of lands and or legendary permanent cards with a converted mana cost of X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest into your graveyard. I dare say that this might be the weakest one.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. It all depends on what's on top of your library,
Mm-hmm.
So, unless you're having some type of effects, to, some, scry type effects to know what's coming up, if you pay, and even then, if you pay 5 for it, it's going to be legendary creatures or lands with converted mana cost 3 or less.
Right.
You have to put a serious amount of mana into this to make it worth anything.
Which, in green, in Commander, is not a hard thing to do.
Sure, I suppose so.
But, it's a big commitment.
But, I mean, at that point, I'd rather just cast Genesis Wave,
Right.
And even on top of that, you have to have that legendary permanent to have this be online anyway.
Extra flavor points if you have Kamal and the Mirari out when you cast this, by the way.
Which, you could have the green Kamal and then Mirari's Wake. Or just Mirari itself.
I was just even talking about Kamal Pit Fighter.
Oh yeah.
But
Um,
red green ramp. I mean, that's the ramp colors. That's the perfect thing to get this done.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. Actually really like the artwork on this one. I love how in the lore how Kamal put the Mirari on his sword.
Yep,
It's a cool thing that he did there. That Kamal.
he's a cool guy. Started off as a pit fighter, and then you know
He
tried to
became
save
a
the world.
wise druid guy.
Hmm. I'm not like I said earlier. I'm not going to pretend to remember any lore from that long ago.
Yeah, I remember a little bit of it. I just remember that he did that and went into the forest or whatever. So Benelish Marshal is an awesome card for
It's a
white
pretty
white
good card.
for white for a 3/3. We have a human knight. I love the knight
Mm-hmm.
creature type. I'm always welcoming more good knights, and just other creatures you control get +1/+1. That's really solid. That is
I know we
solid.
can't play multiples in Commander, but you just put two of these down and everything, including themselves, get buffed.
Yep. And I don't know.
That's
Like in the mono white deck, it's good, and even in
right.
other decks, I mean, it has like an awkward mana cost if you're playing more than one color. But if you get into like even if you can't play it on turn 3, if you're playing a deck that plays effects like this that gives everything else +1/+1.
What deck was it that I played recently? I think it was my special investigations unit that I
Oh
put this in.
yeah,
That was actually doing quite a bit of work.
yeah,
That it just sat there buffing an entire team.
yeah. I mean, it's like a 3/3, so
Yeah,
like mana dorks can't really deal with it if you start attacking with it. I mean, sure, like dies to lightning bolt or whatever crap you want to say about it. But in Commander, like there's so much removal anyway that I feel
yeah.
like it's kind of a moot point to start talking like that.
Tempest Jin.
Yeah.
Blue, 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 flying 0/4. Gets +1/+flow for each island you control. Eh,
I like this card.
you do for the islands deck.
That's right. This card goes in the ocean deck.
Yeah,
Um,
that's about it though.
yeah, it's short, sweet, and to the point.
I mean, there's a legendary Jin we'll get to that's a bit better than this one. So
Yeah. The next card, Dreadshade, is our black triple cost colored card. It's black, black, black for a 3/3. It's a shade. And it has
it has the shade ability.
the 1 black to give it +1/+1. It's fine. Is it good in Commander? I don't know.
Yeah.
For all of these cards, I guess the one thing that can be said for them is for their low mana cost, that it does well with Devotion.
Yeah, and I remember when these were getting spoiled, and I was getting so hyped up because I was really, really hoping we'd be going back to Theros.
Oh, yeah.
While these guys were in standard, because I mean, devotion
Yeah.
is written all over them.
Or back to freaking Lorwyn and get Chroma back.
I think devotion's better.
Ew. Whatever, dude.
Whatever. Goblin Chain Whirler, red, red,
Goblin.
red. First strike, 3/3. It's a goblin. When it enters the battlefield, it pings everything. Your opponent's control, that is.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't think it's a Commander card.
It's fine. It's fine in Commander. It's whatever. It's amazing in Standard.
But the next card I think is amazing all around.
I mean, it's okay.
Steel
Going
Leaf Champion.
Turn 1 elf, turn 2 something else, and fucking turn 2 this. Whew.
Yeah, Steel
Pardon
Leaf,
my language, by the way.
Steel Leaf
I've gotten
Champion.
blown out by this a lot.
Yeah, Steel Leaf Champion, green 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 for a 5/4. And it's an elf knight. A knight. And Steel Leaf Champion can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. So, mana dorks do nothing to this guy. Tokens do nothing to this guy. Well, your typical soldier tokens, elf tokens, what have you.
Yeah, you're dropping this guy, I mean, in the perfect world, turn 2.
Yep. Good stuff. I really like this card. Next up, we're going to be getting into a cycle of cards that is very new, and we talked a little bit about it in the last episode that we put out.
I should have watched that last episode before we started this.
Yeah, but
We're talking about
these cards. Help.
History of Minaya is really good.
Yes, it is very good. I think it's gosh darn it. I think it's good. I think it's good in Commander. I think it's sweet in the night, in like a night deck. Even if it's not in a night deck, if you're just trying to like be one of those
Flicker
like
effects.
get off the ground quick and get in,
Play it in the deck that you flicker or bounce your own stuff. Do that before the third saga triggers, and you can play it again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Effect.
And that artwork is probably one of my favorite artworks in the whole set. In the whole set, I think that is some amazing artwork right there. So apart from its like totally new way to lay out a card, instead of being everything horizontal, it's now vertical. It is called a saga, and sagas. The rules text says, as this saga enters and after your draw step, add a lore counter. Sacrifice after 3. So you play this card and make a knight. On your next turn, you make another knight. A knight creature with vigilance, I might add. And then on your next turn, knights you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. So
and the saga goes away.
Yeah. So at its worst, you get 2 knights, and then for a turn with vigilance, and then for one turn they become 4/3s. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
Assuming you're playing it with, double your tokens effects. That's just silly.
Yeah, sure. Like, that makes it even better. Antiquities War, Brandon.
Antiquities War is okay. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You get to do this twice.
Mm-hmm.
You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Or in a random order, actually. Do that twice, and then on 3, artifacts you control become artifact creatures with base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. It's okay. I mean, fantastic in the artifact deck. Yeah.
Yeah. By itself, not so much.
No.
Still cool though. In the artifact deck, it's awesome.
Right.
Because it's artifacts you control, not like artifacts that you got with the ability. Yeah, it's not all artifacts. It's artifacts you control. So if you're playing stuff to get like Thopter tokens or whatever it might be, and then you have like artifacts that can trip you and stuff like that, so you can just be like digging through your deck with cards like that, and then all of a sudden you have an army of 5/5s.
Phyrexian Scriptures.
Yeah. Phyrexian Scriptures. This is the one that got revealed in that article, right?
Yep, this was the first one.
Yeah, so for 4 mana, we are putting a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. That creature becomes an artifact in addition to its other types. And that's as you play it. And then after your draw step after that, you will destroy all non-artifact creatures. And then after your next draw step, exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards. So the way that I believe I put this in the previous episode that we did was it saves one thing, then it kills everything, and then it kills everything even more.
Nothing wrong with that.
But actually, the last one only affects your opponent, so it punishes your opponent more than it does you. But
which is okay.
I mean, it's an interesting way to wipe the board. It's like a pretty unique way to wipe the board, I'd say. So the first eruption.
Don't even get me started. The red ones are so disappointing.
Interesting.
It's just 2 in red when the first eruption deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. Sure. Add red on 2.
Sure.
Whatever. Sacrifice a mountain if you do. The first eruption deals 3 damage to each creature.
This card's not good.
No.
It's not. It's just
moving
not
on.
Yeah, moving on.
How about the Mending of Dominaria?
The Mending of Dominaria is sweet. It is 5 mana. On 1 and 2, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And then on 3, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then shuffle your graveyard into your library. So in a situation where you're milling yourself a bunch for whatever reason, this is a good way to get your graveyard back into your library and to, it's what the card does. Like, just return all those lands that you pitched into your graveyard back into play.
What you want to do is play this, turn whatever, and then 2 turns later, before that 3 triggers, play Fall of the Thran.
Oh, Fall of the Thran is the next card.
And you're returning all your lands with the Mending and destroying all of your lands with the Fall.
Oh, yeah. So for 6 mana, we're destroying all lands on 1, and then on 2 and on 3, we're returning 2 lands. Each player returns 2 lands from their graveyard to the battlefield.
But in this perfect world scenario, you've already got all your lands back.
Yeah, I don't really care for Follow the Throne just because I don't really like
No.
land destruction. So,
Nah.
the Mirari Conjecture.
Oh boy. I like this one.
Talk about the Mirari Conjecture.
4 and a blue. Return target instant card from your graveyard to your hand. Great.
Yep.
2. Return target sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Hey, you know,
All right then, I accept.
we're talking. 3. Until end of turn, whenever you cast an insert or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. I like this better than the wizard we talked about earlier.
I think that this card could actually be really dangerous in Commander.
Oh, yes.
More so than any of the other ones, really. You know what I mean? Because you can really set up some stuff with this.
Yep, when you're playing this, you're planning.
Right, yeah. You have to be thinking ahead.
Which is what blue tends to do anyway.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe you're using the Mending of Dominaria to put cards from your library into your graveyard. Probably not, because that's a terrible idea, but... You know.
Yeah.
Just thinking out loud here. The Rite of Pop and Lock is 4 mana for a saga, and then on 1 and 2, we're creating 2 0/1 black cleric creature tokens.
Goes in the cleric deck.
Cleric deck, there you go, yeah. And then on 3, create a 6/6 black demon creature token with a flying, trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature. If you can't, this creature deals 6 damage to you. That ability is on a demon already, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. I like the cleric thing. That's cool.
It is on Lord of the Pit.
Sure. Oh yeah, classic, right?
Yep.
Classic Lord of the Pit. But how about classic The Flame of Keld? Brandon.
Okay, we're going to talk about this one, and then honestly, do you want to talk about any of the other sagas? Because they're not that great.
I want to go over the...
Song of Release is okay, and Time of Ice is pretty good, but that's about it.
Yeah, I want to go over a couple more after this, but yeah, the Flame of Keld
is pretty bad. 1 in red, discard your hand on 1.
Seems awful.
I mean, why? On 2, draw 2 cards.
Right.
You made me discard my hand for this.
Unless you already have no hand when you play it, you know?
Right. And then you're just drawing another 2. I mean, okay. 3, if a red source you control would deal damage to a permanent or a player this turn, it deals that much damage plus 2?
Plus 2. I mean,
it's not even like double. It's just plus 2.
It's an uncommon.
I know.
What can you
but
really
it's just
ask for?
the 2 sagas were just so disappointing.
Yeah.
Whereas like Song of Release is still really good.
Yeah.
I slotted this right into my Gave deck.
Yeah, 2 mana, and on 1 and 2, until your next turn, creatures you control gain tap to add 1 mana of any color. That alone is really good.
Hell, I actually think that when Colin and I went to had a giant pre-release, we got blown out by Song of Release.
Ooh, brutal. And on 3, we're putting a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible until end of turn. That's really good. That is so much better than the Flame of Keld. And they're at the same rarity, you know?
Right.
I don't know.
Now, these are supposed to, depict, serious moments in the lore.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I'm just gonna go ahead and just go through the rest of these just so we can get through all of them. I don't know. As a new card type, I feel like we owe it to ourselves to go through all of them. The Triumph, or not the Triumph, just Triumph of Gerard. 2 mana, and on 1 and 2, we're putting a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control with greater power, with the greatest power. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because we're used to seeing effects that not target, but that influence the lowest power, right?
Right.
And then on 3, target creature
stronger.
Yeah. And then on 3, target creature you control with the greatest power gains flying, first strike, and lifelink till end of turn. I mean, that's better than the Flame of Keld. And it like powers up your big creature and then makes it into an even more menacing creature until the end of that turn.
And you can set this up for a win.
Yeah.
It gives it flying.
Oh yeah, definitely. Flying is so huge in the game, man. Flying is such an important mechanic.
Yeah.
So
I'm making fun of you now.
Don't do that.
Time of Ice?
Yes.
You want to go back to the Time of Ice? You want to go back to Ice Age? See Lovisa on the art, right?
Is that really who that is?
Yeah, that's
nice.
Lovisa. And the Darien King of Keldor or
King
whatever.
of Geldor or whatever it is.
So
Oh,
they're in a blue.
I actually never took the time to look at that. That's pretty cool.
Tap target creature and opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step, as long as you control Time of Ice. I love that effect. I mean, just tapping something down for a bit. I love it.
Yeah, the fact that it's as long as you control Time of Ice makes it last for a few turns, which is pretty cool.
Just 2 turns, 3 turns.
Yeah.
But you start bouncing is when it starts, getting into, the fun territory. I did that a few times in Arena, and it was great.
Yeah.
Return all tapped creatures to their owner's hands.
And
you tap some things down for a couple turns, and then they get bounced.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're trying to like make this work with something else, I mean, you could run like Giga Drowse or Icy Blast or whatever.
Right.
Bluster Squall is that one card, I think.
Frost Links.
Yeah, I mean,
That taps down the Frost Breath.
yeah, there's all kinds of places you could go with this card if you're really trying to push making this something to blow someone out with,
Right. So Chainer's Torment.
Yeah, Chainer's Torment.
Actually a really good card too.
It's actually a clever name for the card because Chainer was in the set Torment.
Yeah.
So for 4 mana, on 1 and 2, Chainer's Torment deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. Sure, that's fine. And then on 3, create an XX Black Nightmare Horror creature token where X is half of your life total. Rounded up, it deals X damage to you. So you're kind of like getting ahead on life, but that's only really essentially to like pay tribute to this demon or something is the idea, I guess. I forget what Chainer's actual story was, but yeah. And the last one,
Reborn.
the Eldest Reborn. Yeah, some really, really cool artwork here. Do you want to go ahead and go over it?
Sure. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's rough.
Yeah.
And it's not you. It's only them.
Yeah, it's not like cards like Barter Blood, which influences all players.
Or like Flashback Marauder or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So on 2, each opponent discards a card.
Again, each opponent.
Right.
Yeah.
On 3, put target creature or planeswalker from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
It's sick.
Oh,
it's good. I like this card.
It's just like 5 mana and it's just hit.
Look out for this card in the Bolas deck that I eventually want to make. All right, so now we're out of the sagas, and we are going to be getting into some more juicy stuff here. The sagas are really cool and everything. It's a neat idea. I think that the sagas just belong in this set, and I kind of hope that we don't see them again, at least for a good long while.
If we do, God forbid, the next time we come back to Ravnica, we could actually have sagas there because enough story has been told.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that happened there. But
so, I mean, that's all the place where you're going to see it is where like a lot of story has been told.
Yeah, I really like how all of these is depicted different points in the history of the game.
Right.
Like a cool little like love letter back to those older sets.
And that's all this set was.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Garfield himself came back and helped design a few cards in the set.
Yeah. All right, so next up is Evra.
Fun card.
Evra Halcyon Witness. 6 mana for a 4/4 with a lifelink, and then for 4 mana you exchange life totals. Exchange your life total with Evra Halcyon Witness's power. So you could just blow someone out with this like crazy, but be careful because it puts you to 4 life unless you do things to alter Evra's power.
I mean, it doesn't tap her, so you can with 8 mana.
Do it play her, wait till the next turn, swap.
Happens.
Yeah. And then
she's got lifelink, so as soon as that's done, you just flip it right back.
Yeah, swap it back. And you can even do it at instant speed too, so.
Right. Naban, Dean of Iteration.
Yeah.
1 in a blue, human wizard, he's a 2/1. If a wizard entering the battlefield under your control causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. This is my kind of thing, because you got to set up for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I wish it were like if a creature. I mean, I understand why it's not, but it'd be cool.
But it's for the wizard deck.
Yeah, wizards are sweet.
But yeah, no, this is a good card. That's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah.
Just let stuff happen.
Set it up right in your wizard deck to really capitalize off of your ETB effects off of wizards, and there you go. We have Jozu Vest, or Jozu Vest. Have had a habit of turning J's into Y's.
Okay.
So Jozu Vest, Lich Knight. Really cool name, first of all. Really cool artwork, second of all.
This was Liliana's brother.
Yeah.
That she killed
Right.
right before she became a walker.
Right. So 4 mana for a 4/5 legendary zombie knight with kicker. And kicker is 6 mana.
Man.
So
Oh wait, this is the first time we've seen kicker.
Yeah.
What does the kicker do?
So
It's supposed to do this thing.
you may pay an additional 6 as you cast the spell. This will change depending on the kicker cost can change. Let's put it that way.
Right.
For different cards. And when Jozu Vest Lich Knight enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create 8/2/2 black zombie knight creature tokens with Manass.
I mean, that's a good card. He's fine. I don't think he
I think he's
makes
neat.
commander, but that's.
I think it could be fun to make him a commander. I don't know, like
Yeah.
I think there's like a theme that you could play around with him. I don't know. I think it's a fun card.
Yeah.
Is it
I
like
mean, black?
Is it like top tier? No, but
No,
still kind of cool.
but that doesn't mean we're not going to play him.
But what about Verax Bladewing?
Verax Blade Ring's pretty neat. 2 red, 4/4 dragon, kicker 3.
Yeah.
Got flying, like a lot of dragons do. I'm not going to say all, because I guarantee there's a dragon out there that doesn't have flying.
Right.
When Verax Bladewing enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create Verax Bladewing, a legendary 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. I wish he had haste, but that's pretty much my only gripe.
You're paying 7 for 2 4/4 bodies with flying.
Yeah, it's like Broodmate Dragon, right?
Right. What about Marwyn though?
Marwyn the Nurturer is a really cool card. I actually pulled a foil one from my box. That was fun. So 3 mana for a 1/1. Yeah, 3 mana for a 1/1 Elf Druid. When another elf enters the battlefield under you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Marwyn the Nurturer, and then you can tap her to add an amount of green to your mana pool equal to her power. That's sweet. In the elf deck, yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna be playing a lot of elves in the elf deck if you're not familiar. That's just how that works.
Right.
And that's it.
Wouldn't play this in the elf deck.
It's just one more cog to put in the elf engine, you know?
Why don't you tell us about Shalai though?
I really like this card a lot.
Hey, I do too.
First of all, the art. So Shalai, the voice of plenty. 4 mana for a 3/4 with flying. It's an angel. And it says, you, planeswalkers you control, and other creatures you control have hexproof. Hexproof is really good. It's proven time and time again to just be able to turn games around.
Game we played, I copied this off of you.
Yes, you did.
And then killed yours. I can't remember what I was doing. I know it was something silly.
It was pretty dirty. It was pretty dirty what you did. But then the thing that makes this card really cool, in my opinion, is that this card's color identity is actually green-white, because its activated ability is that for 6 mana, 4 green, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. I mean, this goes great in the token deck. It goes great in the good stuff deck. It's really cool. And going back to what it's really cool, and going back to what we were talking about before, between Shalai and Lyra, is which one does better at the helm of the angel deck. I still think that flavor wise specifically, I'd prefer Lyra, but this card can definitely be used as a commander, and I'm sure it can be used very effectively as a commander.
Oh yeah. Just that hexproof alone is just fantastic.
Yeah. So Zahid
Jin of the Lamp. 6 mana, 5/6 Jin. You may pay 3 and a blue and tap an tapped artifact you control rather than pay this spell's mana cost. And it's got flying. So, 4 mana and tap an artifact.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
It's all right. I don't think there's anything
get around that commander tax.
Look at that promo art. Boop. Pretty cool. Where does that promo art come from?
I don't even know. You know how long ago this came out? Yeah, I honestly can't tell you.
So
it says draft weekend on the card.
Oh, there you go. So Qasr Oov, Singer Pureblood. 7 for a 4/4 vampire with flying. When a creature an opponent controls is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on this guy. And then for 3 and a red, you can deal 2 damage to target creature. So again, another opportunity for like a red-black vampire commander. Is it the best red-black vampire commander? No, it is not. But at least you have the option, right? And you can,
if you're just getting into commander, or hey, if you're getting into brawl,
yeah, that's right.
You could, this guy, sure,
yeah, or just jam him into the 99 or whatever. I do like how on the artwork of this card, how they integrated the red into his cape.
Yeah.
And then in the same way on Shalai, she has the like the earth beneath her for the green.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Squee the Immortal. Guess who's back?
Back again. 1 red. He's not Norn though.
No, he's not.
Sure. If Colin was here.
Right.
# miss you, Colin.
That's right.
1 red, 2/1. You may cast Squee the Immortal from your graveyard or from exile. Just can't go away.
Yeah, still cool.
Yep.
I mean, abuse him with sack outlets and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't say he like dodges board wipes or anything, but he's going to come right back right after those board wipes. Even after you cast your, Urza's Ruinous Blast or whatever, he's still going to come back.
Every time.
Grun the Lonely King, though. Probably not going to come back after Urza's Ruinous Blast.
No.
But at 6 mana for a 5/5, kicker for 3, and you got an Ape Warrior. So there's your Ape deck commander.
So base stats here, though. 6 mana
for a 5/5 is
in green. It's under the bar.
Yeah, it is.
But it's okay.
It's very under the bar in green.
Considering the core set gave us a 5 mana 10/10.
Yeah, but
right?
with the kicker though, for 9 mana, you get a 10/10, which is still like you're kind of pushing it.
Yeah, but you're above the bar there.
But when Grun attacks alone, you double his power and toughness until the end of the turn. So that's what you're really trying to capitalize off of. Right. And in green, there's so many ways that you can pump him up, whether it's equipment or spells or enchantments, what have you. This could be
green is one of the best colors for Exalted as well.
Yeah. So this could be, you could one shot somebody with this guy if you play your cards right.
That's exactly 20.
Yeah.
So Tishar, you were excited about this guy.
I do like this card. 4 mana for a 2/2 bird cleric, so it's both a bird and a cleric.
Deck, or have you taken it apart? Or did you ever build it?
It turned into the Imara deck essentially, because I just realized after looking over everything that I had, I was like, I don't know, this just doesn't seem like it's going to be too terribly fun as it stands. So I just kind of turned it into the Imara deck. Okay. Whatever. But yeah, it's both a bird and a cleric, 2 creature types that I enjoy. 2/2 with flying, and then whenever you cast a historic spell, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's like a nerfed, kind of like a nerfed Sun Titan, like a heavily nerfed Sun Titan, but still, like if you have even if casting your commander will trigger this, So yeah, and then you get some of your utility creatures back. You get your Reclamation Sage or whatever. You get your Mana Dork. You get, I don't know, other things.
There's a lot of good stuff in Commander you can get back with this, because there's a lot of good stuff in Commander with CMC 3 or less.
Yeah, sure. And it's funny, the point that you brought up earlier about Brawl, all of these legendary creatures, like they just jammed so many legendary creatures into this set, pretty much for Brawl. Yeah. But at the same time,
you got to think about it. We're going to a set that's full of all this history.
Yeah. So this set was really a Commander player's dream anyway. So.
Yep. That's Voda.
Yeah.
Rising Deep. 8 mana. 8/8. Okay.
Leviathan.
Kicker 1 in a blue. Hey. Yeah. It's a Leviathan. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
1 in blue has its kicker. Okay. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return all creatures to their owner's hands except Merfolk, Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, and Serpents.
Yes. This card's sick.
Yes. I love this card.
This is a good card. This card, really actually isn't that good. But
No, it's not.
just for the flavor reason that I like it for the ocean deck just makes it a super goofy
like
card.
if you're just like playing a whatever deck and all of a sudden this comes out of nowhere, you're just like, what?
I mean, using this as your commander could essentially just threaten a board wipe.
Right.
You know, it's like always there in your command zone.
You know how you get the flavor win?
How's that?
You play High Tide.
Oh yeah, there you go. And that's how you get him out. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Lich's Mastery is a neat card. So for 6 mana, we have a legendary enchantment. Legendary enchantment. This legendary enchantment has hexproof. It says you can't lose the game. Wow, seems good.
Woo!
Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. My goodness. Whenever you lose life, for each 1 life you lost, exile a permanent you control or a card from your hand or graveyard. So it's like, it's kind of like, oh, that's a lot of words to think about. A lot of places that you can have access to do this effect for. And then when Lich's Mastery leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. So
it's like upside, and then like you're like, oh.
And then like, whoops, I just lost the game because of my opponent's like, what? Tranquility, destroy all enchantments costs like 3 mana. It's like a common from Alpha or something. Like, you know, whatever. So it's a glass cannon type of card.
It has hexproof though, so it can't.
Targeted removal doesn't work.
Yep.
Yeah. So a huge glass cannon card, but could still be fun to play in certain situations.
Keeper of Flame.
Yeah. What's this
Keeper
guy
of
do?
the Flame.
The
3 mana,
Flame.
3/2. He's a human shaman. That shaman tribal.
Human
At the
shaman.
beginning of your combat, or beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Valduk, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste.
Yeah.
Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step.
Just stack them up with all your auras and equipment. I don't really like this card, but
He's neat.
I mean, yeah, I think that you could build a pretty fun deck with him, I guess.
I mean, he goes into that Voltron deck as just a support card, right?
I like the hammer that he's holding.
Just another dude in case, you know, all of your other backups have failed.
I also like how you pronounced it earlier. Valduk. The Valduk. The clan of the Valduk. If you get that reference. Yeah, Merfolk. Yeah. If you get my duck reference, like, comment, subscribe. Sylvan Awakening is a sweet 3-mana sorcery that makes it so until your next turn, all lands you control become 2/2 elementals with reach, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. This card is ridiculously good. This card is way better than Natural Affinity. Natural Affinity makes it so all lands become 2/2s, including your opponents. But this card is just, holy crap, it's just your lands. They get reach and indestructible and haste. Like, wow, this card's quite good in the Lands Matter deck. This card could even be good in just a green deck. Like, you know, in a long-running commander game, you're like, oh, Sylvan Awakening, whoop, you know, something that pumps all my creatures or something, win the game when I have 10 lands in play or something, you know?
Right.
So...
How about Baird, Steward of Argyle?
Argyle. Steward of Steve Argyle. That's that magic artist, right?
Yeah.
4 mana for a 2/4 with Vigilance. It's a human soldier. Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. So it's a taxing effect for attacking. It's not unlike Ghostly Prison. It's not unlike Propaganda and cards like that.
It's just that, you know, since it's not just an enchantment or anything, it's, you know, more removal can hit this guy.
I love all the art in this set. I'm going to keep saying... I'm guarantee you I'm going to say it like 10 more times before the end of this episode, but man, it's so good.
The art on Tetsuko is great. Not a great card, in my opinion, but it could work in the deck if you build around it. Yeah, but
so what does Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive do?
2 mana for 1/3 human rogue. It did not make it into my rogue assassin deck. So.
No.
Nope.
Interesting.
You can draw with power or toughness, 1 or less can't be blocked.
I'm
playing creatures with like average like power higher than that.
One of the dudes in my play group put this in his ninja deck.
I mean, yeah.
Got to get that what's it called? The ninjutsu going. Torgar, Famineincarnate. He is a big one.
You're gonna be
Look at
feeling the
this.
famine after you pay 8 mana.
For a 7/6. As an additional cost to cast but wait, there's more. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. So it's like a really warped version of Convoke.
You sacrifice 3 dudes and you're paying 2 black.
Yeah. So whereas with Convoke you would just tap those creatures. This guy demands sacrifice.
I mean, it's a black card.
Yeah. So when Torgar, Famineincarnate, enters the battlefield, up to one target player's life total becomes half their starting life total, rounded down. So it's okay. Target player. Let's think about that. Target player. So this can be used. This card can actually be used politically to, even in some cases, to raise a life total.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it becomes half the starting. So, 40.
Yeah.
If they're at 15, they'll get up to 20.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So this card can be used really politically. I never really thought about it until I sitting down here and reading through the card.
Talk about cards.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I motion to skip haphazard bombardment.
That's fine. How about we talk about our first dinosaur in a set after Ixalan?
Tell us about territorial.
Territorial.
Turgan Togan.
It's your Merfolk.
Merfolk.
2 green, 5/5 dinosaur, kicker 2 and a green. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it fights another target creature. Sure, it's a green card.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's even that great for 7 mana.
Right.
I don't know. It's still cool though. I like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are neat.
Yep.
But
Dana the Capuchin. Paragon.
Paragon.
Dig this card.
Look at that stained glass. Look at that armor. Look at that sword. Man. 3 mana for a 2/2 with first strike, vigilance, and lifelink. Look at that. The whole swath of keywords on a 3 mana.
It's a human knight too.
Yeah, it's
Don't
a
forget
knight.
about that part.
Yeah. Aura and equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Woo, sign me up. Great card.
Mm-hmm.
This card's great. I love this card. Oh, also something that I think we've neglected to talk about so far is the new border on the cards. On legendary cards.
I've gotten so used to it already.
Yeah, it looks great.
It was so new.
Yeah.
It was just so jarring to see it, but now it's just, I see it all the time now.
I just love now that it can really distinguish legendary creatures. It's not like I ever really had difficulty doing it before, but it's just neat. It's really cool to be able to look and be like, not only does that look cool, but it serves a purpose,
Right. Precognition field.
Yeah, tell us about it.
You may look at the top card of your library. Sweet.
Nice.
You may cast the top card of your library if it's an instant or sorcery card. Sign me right up.
Good stuff.
3, exile the top card of your library. Hey, give me 2 of those better cards faster. Let me skip those land drops.
Exile your
that land on top.
Exile your Squee the Immortal. Exile your what's the other card? Mist bound Sphinx, or the one that there's a Sphinx that you can cast from exile. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that might be a stretch for the type of deck you're trying to make with this card, but
But hey.
Uragos,
the empty one. I actually played this in Arena in my black whatever deck. It's pretty good.
This card looks freaking badass.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. 6 mana for a 4/3 Spectre. It has flying. It's a legendary creature. When Urgaros, the empty one, deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random. If that player can't, you draw a card. So it punishes them when they get hit, and it punishes them even more if they can't discard the card.
Right. I mean, I played this in my, black, I'm going to make you discard everything deck. And, by the time he dropped, obviously I've been getting rid of a lot of their threats at this point because I'm in black. I've got all the removal.
Yeah.
And then once he starts hitting, there's nothing they could do about it.
Yeah.
Because if they draw a card and try to keep it and can't do anything, it's going to go.
Yep. So we have reprints of Siege Gang Commander and Verdant Force. I'm just going to bring up the Verdant Force real quick because I love the new artwork for it.
Yeah. It's so much. I mean, the original artwork's iconic and everything, but this is so good.
Looks very good. Tell us about Quende, Pride of Femrith.
I love this dude.
Looks
4 mana for a 2/2. He's also a human knight.
Yeah.
Got double strike.
All them knights.
I'm going to get hit with this so bad if this turns out to be a female. Just saying.
Right. This
Creatures
card
you
looks like
control with first strike.
Have double strike. Sick.
Woo!
That's sweet. This card looks like it belongs in Theros.
It does.
doesn't it? Like
But
the armor to me.
it's where Teferi comes from, is
Yeah.
where that's set.
All right, and we have reached the point in the show where we're just gonna be doing
There's still
like
a couple legendaries. I mean, we can skip to them, but
yeah.
about everything else in here is just kind of filler stuff.
yeah, we're gonna be bouncing around. We're gonna talk about Curator's Ward real quick because I like it.
Okay.
3 mana for enchant permanent. Enchant permanent has hexproof. When enchanted permanent leaves the battlefield, if it was historic, draw 2 cards. So enchant a legendary thing, and then if for any reason that dies, it's like an insurance policy. You gain a little bit of card advantage for, put it on something that has a big target on it already for your opponents.
Put it on your Yargle.
Yeah. So yeah, it just makes your opponents think a little bit more if they want to get rid of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have Whisper Blood Liturgist, 4 mana for a 2/2. Human Cleric, tap and sacrifice 2 creatures, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think this card is sweet.
Sure.
I think this is like, I just really like getting more stuff for the Cleric deck.
Right.
Because I still really want to build that deck, for better or for worse or whatever, but I think this card would go into that deck. And look at that artwork. That's like pretty messed up.
Oh, yeah.
That like cult feeling that you kind of get,
I mean, look how they beg for the knife. The
yeah.
Demon has trained them well.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were actually just commenting on it. No, that's the flavor text.
Oh, well done.
How
How about you tell us about On Sarah's Wings?
On Sarah's Wings is 4 mana legendary enchantment aura. Enchanted creature is legendary. Gives +1/+1, has flying, vigilance, and lifelink. It's like Angelic Destiny, but I like how it makes the creature legendary.
Right.
I like that. That's
Which
neat.
can then let you use your legendary sword.
Put your Curator's Ward on it. Whatever,
Yeah?
man. You could do it.
I guess.
Yeah.
How about you tell us about about Yargle?
Yargle is a 5 mana
Yargle.
9/3, and that's it. It's a frog spirit. That's it.
Yargle.
Yargle reminds me of in OG Commander Versus. Like, it always stuck out when Danny flashed in Yeva. He's like,
Yeva.
Yeva. I don't know. That just stuck with me.
No, I remember it too.
I really like Champion of the Flame. This card was actually, I played this card a lot in Arena, actually.
Okay.
2 mana for a 1/1 with Trample, and then it gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. That's sweet.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good card. For an, it's like an uncommon. It's just neat.
Yeah.
What's next? Probably In Bolus's Clutches, just because it's something that brings up some art that we should talk about.
Should we talk about that though? I mean, I guess. 6 mana, legendary enchantment aura, enchanted permanent. You control that enchanted permanent. Enchanted permanent is legendary.
It's gonna be in the Bolus deck. Damn, dude, I can't wait to build that deck. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be such a meanie head in that deck. That deck's just gonna be about being. That deck's gonna be all about being rude.
So what happens if you enchant an opponent's In Bolus's Clutches with your own In Bolus's Clutches?
You control the enchantment, but it doesn't mean you control the creature.
I know.
I think. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Cast Down is one of our removal spells, destroying target non-legendary creature at instant speed for 2
This is the
mana.
closest you're going to get to Doomblade without being Doomblade.
I suppose it's situational, but I'm really close to wanting to say that this is better than Doomblade.
Yeah?
Like, I don't know. They both.
I mean, it can target black creatures.
Yeah, they both have their uses for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Board the Weatherlight, Brandon. How about that card?
Board? This is more your style. You could take it.
Okay, for 2 mana, we have a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a historic card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Keep in mind, artifacts are historic.
Oh, yeah, that's something else we've not... There's a lot of things that were just, like, changed.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
But there's new wording.
Yeah. So, artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. So yeah, I really like this card. It's it's essentially a draw spell for the artifact deck. That's how I look at this card.
Yeah.
If you're playing white in your artifact deck, like Esper artifacts, what have you, I don't know. Now we're looking.
Now we're looking. I like Seal Away. I really, really like Seal Away.
Where's Seal Away at?
It's down like 3 rows from where you were.
All right, I'm just gonna go in order down here. I just want to touch on Dauntless Bodyguard real quick.
Yep.
Because I think it's neat. At 1 mana for a 2/1, as it enters the battlefield, you choose another creature you control, and then you sack Dauntless Bodyguard to make the chosen creature indestructible at the end of turn, and is also a knight. So that's pretty cool.
And I mean, we had reprints of Goblin War Chief.
Oh yeah, we did. Nice. The artwork is okay too. It's okay.
I mean, Skizik and Thorn Elemental were reprints.
I actually really like the new artwork for Thorn Elemental. Because again, Thorn Elemental also has some really classic artwork, but this is a cool take on it. Spore Crown Thallid I like a lot because it's some more tech for fungus and saprolings. It's one of those like sleeper tribal type decks, and like this is just a great, for a 2-mana Lord effect for those creatures. Right. That's something that I think, I'm not sure if the deck needed it, but now that it has it, it's pretty awesome, right?
It didn't get a slot into Gave, but that's because it runs a different kind of strategy.
Yeah.
Than buffing everything.
Right.
It's a different kind of buffing.
So how about Seal Away? Now we're there now. Tell us about Seal Away.
Seal Away.
Seal away, seal away.
For an enchantment, Flash. You know what we say about Flash.
Everything's better with it.
Seal Away enters the battlefield, exile target, tapped creature and opponent controls until Seal Away leaves the battlefield. It's got to be that tapped creature, but,
Yeah, a little bit more situational. A little bit more situational than Journey to Nowhere, but hey. Still pretty sweet.
But still, I like it.
Yeah. Wizard's Retort. How about that card?
Ooh, 1 blue for an instant. Okay. This spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a wizard. Okay. Counter target spell. Woo! So I can have my counter spell with a wizard.
Yeah, but
guess what's a wizard, Travis?
Wizards.
Niv Mizzet's a wizard.
Oh, is he really? I actually didn't know that.
He's a dragon wizard.
I probably knew that. But I mean, is this card good? No. It's not.
It's a wizard deck, obviously.
No, cut it out, you.
No.
What's next?
Hey, Sarah Angel got a reprint.
I don't care.
How about you tell us about Adventurous Impulse?
No, we're going to talk about Untamed Kavu.
Okay.
Remember when we talked about
Untamed, Travis?
Remember when we talked about I think we talked about wanting to see Kavu again in Dominaria when we were doing our Ixalan or Rivals of Ixalan review.
Yeah.
And we got to see a Kavu, singular, but like two.
Viashino, like where were they in the set?
I know, I don't know. But at 2 for a 2/2, and you kick it for 3 as Vigilance and Trample, and if you paid the full 5 mana for it, it comes in with as a 5/5 essentially.
Yeah.
Which is not very good.
Which is great. With Vigilance and Trample at uncommon, sure.
Yeah, for 5 mana maybe it's okay. But yeah, Adventurous Impulse I actually do really like because for 1 mana at sorcery speed, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or a land from among them and put them in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. We were talking before we actually started recording that I had once mentioned that this is a little bit like the Green Ponder, but albeit an awful version of Ponder. Like it's in green, so Arcane Flight though. Arcane Flight, man.
Talk about Wizard Lightning, Travis.
Fine. Where is Wizard Lightning? Here we go.
It's right next to Impulse.
Fine. Wizard
2
Lightning.
red for an instant. The spell costs 2 less to cast if you control a wizard. Okay.
All right then.
Wizard's Lightning deals 3 damage to any target. Okay, now we're talking Lightning Bolt.
So is this card good?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
I call Balderdash.
Now, okay, let's get to my favorite card of the set.
Arcane Flight.
Arcane Flight. Let's be real here.
It's a flying cat. There's a playmat for this card.
There is.
Yeah, you should get it.
You can also only pay a blue to enchant something to give it +1/+1 in flying.
Yeah, I mean, that's still pretty good.
Yep. It's
Um,
great.
I like Artificer's or Artificer's Assistant. 1 for a 1/1 with flying, and then whenever you cast a historic spell, scry 1.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a little annoying idiot to have out on the battlefield that gets to take a peek into your deck every once in a while. I think that's fun. Fun card.
Okay, Travis.
What?
Let's be real here.
Sure.
Couple rows down, all the way to the right. Why don't you talk to us about Broken Bond?
Broken Bond, I'm sad. I mean, I get it, but I'm sad. 2 mana sorcery speed, destroy target artifact or enchantment. You may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield as like an explore effect that also gets rid of an artifact or enchantment. It's fine. But yeah, just the implications from this card. The art is like really, it's like sad. It's like sad artwork, you know?
Right.
No more.
Just after Amonkhet, Nissa was done.
Nissa left the Avengers, man.
We're
Like-
getting a new Avenger.
Yeah, the new Avenger. I almost wonder if there's going to be, like, I feel like this would be, like, they could totally go the path and being, like, Nissa comes back to, like, save the day at some point.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But, like, just looking at this card's artwork, it's, like, beautiful artwork, but it's, like, it's legitimately makes me be, like, a little bummed out. Like, oh, man.
Like, that
You know-
was the symbol of her pact that she just, scratched out. But if you look, there's little seedling growing in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah, what does it mean? Is that an
don't
Easter
know.
egg? Who knows, man?
All right. I think the rest here is just kind of...
We have some artifacts to go over. Oh, we have new artwork on Yanwar Elves.
On what?
Llanowar Elves, Yanwar Elves.
Oh.
1 for a
I haven't
1/1.
made it to Unguarded Elves yet.
New artwork for Opt.
Mm-hmm.
Opt is a fun card anyway, though.
Oh, yeah. New art for Syncopate?
Syncopate. Where the heck is that? Is it way down?
No.
No, it's not.
It's a few below Opt.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, new artwork for Syncopate. Syncopate. Looks good.
Unwind is pretty good.
Unwind is a really good card. This is one of the cards that like sold out super quickly for pre-orders.
Yeah.
3 mana instant, counter target non-creature spell, then untap up to 3 lands. It's like Rewind.
Except
Cool
you're
card.
unwinding.
Ah, there you
I got him.
go. But now we actually have quite a few more spicy cards to go over.
Woo, boy.
Boy, Piccolo, this is a big set.
Yes,
I think we might have to split this review into 2 parts.
yes, that's it. It's obvious.
I mean, to be fair, if this were a regular season, each color would have its own video.
It doesn't make a bit of difference, guy.
Yeah, you're probably right. Click through to part 2.